Hey guys, want to welcome you to our edition of R&B Podcast. A little intro, a little change there, just trying to shaping things up. It is myself and Mr. DJ Stevie Street. How you doing, Stevie?
I'm very good, sir. Good evening to you and all our regular viewers, our new ones, hopefully, as well. We're reviewing an album tonight that only came out last Friday, so we're off the
Yes.
mark with this one.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, we're going to get into the album, which surprisingly is really good. But so we'll get into that. But yeah, as I said, it came out Friday, and I mean, just before, I mean, we'll go in depth. But were you surprised by the album, or what was your thoughts of it?
You always get something quality and strong from Jon B, and he delivered. He always delivers with his albums, so I wasn't shocked or surprised. I just thought, yeah, he's give the fans what we expect of him. Hopefully, he'll pick some new R&B fans up. But yeah, as we will deep dive into it a bit later on. But it's got a bit of everything for everybody on here. It's a strong R&B album.
Yes, definitely. But in the interim, so before we get it, and Miss J will join us shortly. What's his what's on your agenda this weekend, Stevie? Are
Um,
you any
I
shows?
believe I'm going to London on Saturday to the Portchester Hall for H Town. Will be performing. One of the members of Silk will be. I think it's Little G from Silk.
lead
Anthony
singer? Yes.
David, who's a soul R&B artist, probably better known for his stuff in the early 2000s. He'll be performing. One of the members, I think it's Jay Powell of UNV. I don't know if some of you hardcore R&B fans from the 90s remember UNV. They've released a couple of albums. And I think there's some other gospel artist on it. I can't remember his name. So, yeah, hopefully it should be a good night of good male R&B singing. You know, I'll get my shirt out. I'll dust my shirt off out the wardrobe, dust a nice pimp jacket out. You know what I mean? I'll pimp myself up. I'll pimp me ride up for Saturday night, and hopefully a week later we'll have a nice review for you of the Portchester Hall evening if it all goes to plan.
Yes. The Realist Talk. Welcome. Yes, we're going to spend time reviewing the album, and as you said, really strong album. I'm glad you got to listen to it. And as I said, we're waiting for our colleague Miss J to join in. But Stevie's talking about seeing H Town, Little G from Silk, and I guess can you tell us, because this was supposed to have been in, is it January?
Yeah, it's originally
and it was supposed to be a
yeah,
different
originally
lineup,
had Big Bub on, but
and that's why you initially wanted to go.
yeah, but he pulled out for whatever reason. He pulled out. I'm not going to really go into that, but and I think Silk, the guy from Silk, was added because it was Big Bub in H Town initially. But I thought, being that it was on in January, mid-January, I had my suspicions because I thought, who's really got the money to be having a lavish night out in the middle of January just after Christmas? So, and it didn't happen, and I wasn't surprised it got cancelled. So it's been pushed back to the end of March. Springtime in the UK, the clocks will go forward. Don't forget on Saturday night from 1 till 2 a.m. So yeah, better time to be going out. I think weather's a bit better.
Yeah, but also, I think we subsequently learned that Big Bob's father passed away just towards the end
That's
of
probably
January,
why then, Hardy.
and yeah, and he wasn't. Yeah, he had a term for the worst towards the end of the year. So I can imagine him, and he was there holding his dad before he passed. So I can just imagine. But as I said, as a New Jack fan, I can imagine why he would have been sorely missed, and he hasn't done much since. So and he was really close to his dad, really close to his parents. But anyway, yeah, his dad died in January, so it was just a couple of weeks after the show was supposed to take place. So it wasn't a major surprise why he probably had to not take a long trip and stuff. Um, What the I guess the other thing that I wanted to say is that I think I've had probably one of the
I was going to
busiest
ask you
weeks.
because
I know
you've
that.
done a few.
Yeah,
I caught the Shades live the other night. Really enjoyed that with the ladies. There was a bit in it where they were talking about trying to get the music out there, and people had been like scamming them. And I just wanted to, well, what was going on there?
yeah. So for those who don't know, so I interviewed the Motown group Shades, and what has happened is that people would say, "Look, we can help you promote just your music, get them on the radio, get it the plays," and they were getting referred by other people who they knew, and so they were taking their money, then producing fake data. So when they're talking about being scammed, it's about artists, new artists trying to get their money, their music out, and being conned into paying for services that actually don't do anything. They say, yeah, we'll get you playlists on Spotify, we'll get you on Apple's top 100, and look at this, and then and why for them was a challenge because somebody referred them, say, yeah, this, if you want to use somebody, use these people. And when they didn't produce, they're like, well, I didn't know them, somebody told me about them. So that was when they talked about being scammed. And it is tough for new artists to try and put, if you don't have the big name. So we're going to talk about Jon B tonight. He's been on all the big radio stations in on the West Coast. He's he's been on a big chat show, so he still has the name, and he's able to get on big shows to promote his album. Billboard wrote about it, and some other publications. So he's fortunate from that point where he can get the exposure, and then it's next is the that's the most he can do, and then the fans need to buy them. But for people like Shade and other groups trying to get their music out to a wide audience, it is tough to try and get that the
The struggle
airways.
because I
So
do
that
obviously the real like 90s R&B collectors probably remember the Shades first album. It didn't really take off. It had a couple of nice singles on it. One of the singles did get a bit of club and radio play. I think it was the first single back then. But I don't think anybody really remembers them after that. So it's been a long time. So it's like it feels like they've left it so long that they're starting out as like a brand new group almost, you know.
Yeah, I think the big challenge, and for anyone that's I won't say a historian, but anyone who followed music in the '90s, you all know that Andre Hirel started Uptown Records. Puffy was his intern, then became head of A&R, and became so good at what he did that he thought he should be running the show, and he got fired from Uptown and started Bad Boy. And Bad Boy got a lot of money from Clyde Davis and was really bringing the hits, while Uptown, being on MCA, they were restricted by how many acts they can put out, how many albums they can put out, and the kind of budget. And I think Andre saw like, man, this was getting too small for him, and the opportunity went to go to Motown to take over because Gerald Busby was stepping down. And instead of Andre going in and really trying to slowly build up, I think he just saw, look at all this money. He started promoting himself like Puffy was promoting himself. He talked about Dr. Jackal has returned. He started doing from Uptown to Motown. He was self-promoting himself, which for some Uptown fans, it was like, oh, Andre, he's at Uptown, at Motown, but they were spending a lot of money. They were bringing in a lot of Uptown execs, paying them a lot of money, and they went making hit records. And that's where, they didn't even know what they're doing. Their acts, they were signing new acts. The ones who were still there, the Whitehead brothers, they weren't really successful in supporting their second album. That Tara Hicks and Shade all got caught up in mismanagement and just money flowing everywhere. And they talked about being at the white parties and at the Hamptons, but they haven't. And they were recording 70 tracks.
Oh,
70 tracks. So mind you, all that studio,
jeez.
yeah, 70
That's like
tracks
4 or 5
with Brian
albums of
Michael
material.
Cox. Yeah, they had Brian Michael Cox, they had Jermaine Dupri, they had all these big producers producing a track, and then they'll say, okay, that's it, next one. So and that's all the money that was going out. So that was all Motown spending and wasting. And so they still have about half of those tracks which they recorded. So that's, so it's about what they do with them and how they kind of relaunch themselves. So it's a lot of work. They're doing it themselves now, but I do admire the fact that they are trying to push out their stuff. Um, yeah, he said Andre wanted to bring it to, but the thing is, is you can't bring. That means we're following Andre to Motown. I can understand if he was bringing in the producers and creating sound and bringing out the music, but the thing is that he was promoting himself, and when you're in a small little boutique label, everyone knows everyone. You've got one or two artists you can focus. You go to a massive thing like Motown, you've got the legacy artists, or the Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross, Temptations, who are still on there. You've got they've got the old legacy albums like the Temptations, the whole 60s Motown stuff that you need to keep releasing. Then you've got the roster, and then when it's so big and you're not used to managing big, that's where the mistake was. They were just spending money, bringing in new people, firing them, and that's why it just wasn't a success. Yeah. So, but that's what Shade is. So I really appreciate them, and definitely want to be a support
Yeah, they're
to them
great,
as
great
well.
set of ladies, aren't they? They're still looking
Yeah.
good as well. They've aged well. They sound good.
Yeah.
I just wish there was more of a promotional. I wish there was more people out there that could promote like these more older artists, really, legacy artists or artists from the 90s. It's all geared up to promoting younger artists. I think PR at the moment for radio
Yeah.
and playlisting and that. For the artists that have been there and kind of done it from back then, it's unless, like you say, you've got your management team's already set up to do it. It's tough, so tough.
Yeah.
I've got an idea though, and I might talk to you about it offline. It's something me and you
Okay.
talk about it
Okay.
offline. Because
Okay.
I've
That'll
acquired
be interesting.
something that's pretty valuable. That would be very valuable to artists that are looking to get their music played on radio. The big
Okay.
thing is who you send the music to. Now, if I told you I had that
Mm.
information, now we're talking, mate. So we'll see.
Okay. No, we'll be able to chat on that. But you asked me how the week was.
Oh
So
yes.
Monday, yeah. So Monday, I actually interviewed Jon B. So that's coming out next week. But we wanted to wait until we did the review ourselves. But I interviewed Jon B about this album, and I went through every song on the album with him, and you could tell his passion for this album. So it'll be good to piggyback off of what we're doing when that comes out. Then on Tuesday I did the interview with Shade, and then on Wednesday, that was yesterday, I got to interview Rodney B from Troop,
Wow.
and hear his story, hear about how he with his mum started Troop and the whole legacy and the journey. And the one thing I would say about um, when I've interviewed Rodney and I've interviewed John Jones many times, when I asked them about the Deeper album, I said, well, New Jack fans love the album. It was like the breakthrough album. If this always seems a case of regret. And the Deeper album was the time when things went sour for them as a group. Change of management, labels didn't support them. And so, as much as you guys, I mean, I'm talking because I know you really love
I
the
love
Deep
that
album.
album.
As much as
Love
fans
that album.
love that album, they hold a bittersweet album for them, and it's bitter because the label everything fell dropped when the album came out, and the friction and everything. So as soon as I said, so let's talk and I just thought about the Troop album, talked about Attitude album, and he was excited talking about that. And I said, Deep album. It was a sigh, and it's like, ah, yeah, the Deep album, yeah. So yeah, and I'm like, wow, goodness, Deep. So it's. I mean, probably yes. I prefer the my attitude. That's my attitude album, um, and a lot of them love the deeper album. A lot of people love the deeper album, but as I said, that interview will come out soon. And it's going to be a really different perspective from John, who's been on the show many a times. So that will definitely come out.
We've also got an interview with Dave Tolliver, which we did. Did we do that last week?
Yes,
for
Men
at
at
Large.
Large.
We've got his interview as well. I won't give any spoilers away, but yeah, that it's good. Wait for that one. It's not a long one. It's only an hour long. I'm sure you'll get that out soon, won't you, Nanda?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, definitely. Okay, so as I said, and love the chats, Ellis. And so Darius Harris said, haven't sampled Jon B's Waiting on You CD. It sounds like the best album he's released in a while. What are your thoughts about those comments about, because Jon B has been in the music industry for 30 years and started off with Bonafide, and I think he's released 10 albums. I think this is his 10th album.
Something like that. I did get all his Discogs because I do remember vividly buying his first album in 1995, Bonafide, wondering, because he was working with Babyface, and I was like, who is this guy? Jon B. And who'd have thought he'd still be here, over 30 years later. So,
yeah,
credit to him. He went on a great run of albums, didn't he? Right up to, I suppose the album that he's known probably a lot for, that kind of blew him up, was the early 2000s one, Pleasures You Like, with the big club track. He had that huge hit, didn't he? That huge club track. Don't Talk. That was his bigger hits. But he had bigger hits as well than that.
They Don't Know was a massive hit. That's his signature song.
Yes.
Yeah, They Don't Know was his signature song. He has come out with, they said 7 studio albums. So this is his so Waiting on You would be his 8th studio album. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So he's come out with, this is his 8th studio album. Bonafide was his first one. Then when he had Pretty Girl with Babyface, and what was that song he had with Babyface? It was Someone to Love.
Yeah, Someone to Love.
Yeah, with Babyface. And then he had Cool and Relax, which was the sort of the biggest seller, which had Are You Still Down? Yeah, Timmy Lee said that with Tupac, and They Don't Know. What was the first one? I think it was Don't Say. So that one went platinum. Then Pleasures You Like, which actually was a really good album, but it which had the big hit Don't Talk. But at that time they were having label difficulties with he was signed to Edmonds, and I worked at Edmonds with Babyface and his wife run the label, and Sony. And
name
then
dropping again,
strong... I would say this. I've seen Tracy Edmonds, when you see her live, and this was back in 2002. I thought I'd seen seeing her in person. She just looked amazing. When she talks, you're just staring at her like, yes. I have no idea what you've just said, but yes, that was. I would say my time working in the music industry was surreal. Seeing, I talked to I interview them now, but back then, going to parties and seeing Mike Tyson in the middle of like 8 girls, and he had just got this massive tattoo on his face. He looked, I was so afraid to look at him because he looked as if he was going to stand up and punch you. Seeing Faith and Puffy, pre-baby oil. So seeing them and seeing Tracy Ellis Ross, seeing all these guys, and it didn't seem like it was a big deal, and you had to act as if it was no big deal. So yeah, that was Tyrese, seeing them at the studio seeing all these guys, at A. Marie just before she came out, seeing her. So it was a wild time, but I knew that the industry wasn't really for me. Yeah. So anyway, so that was Jon B. Then he came. Then he went independent. Went independent and did his stuff, and yeah. So he's been working on this album for the past 5.5 years. COVID. So he came out with some singles, which were on this album, Priceless and Understand. Both of them came out 5 years ago, and then COVID hit, and he had to put everything on hold. And then after COVID, he had to go on tour to start making go earning a living and stuff. And now he's been able to come back and start working on this album, which is what's it called again? Waiting on You. So we can start. I mean, what was your initial thoughts when you sort of got it, and then over the past week listening to all the songs?
Like I say, I'd heard two of the singles. Was the one with Donell Jones, Understand, and then I heard Waiting on You with Tank, and I thought, these are really solid R&B tracks. Just what you want from R&B. I didn't know there was a Jon B coming. I literally opened my WhatsApp I think it was Friday morning when I switched my phone on. Big shout to one of my music buddies, and he sent me a Spotify link to the Jon B album. Like, whoa, there's a Jon B new album. Got to check this out. And I just had a quick scan through it and thought, well, the first track I played straight off was Chosen. I was just blown away straight away. I thought, this is the first track on the album. And I didn't really, because I was also playlisting stuff for a radio show the next. I couldn't fully take it all in. I just had a quick scan through, but I knew, thought this, the track with Rick Ross on it, Hills to the Hood. That stood out to me. I thought that's really solid. You could hear that in a club, definitely. And then there's, since I've listened to it since last Friday, there's 2 or 3 outstanding tracks on this album. Then there's some really good ballads that just take you away. But it is a strong album. It's a strong. I'd say to any R&B fan of what we like, not just New Jack Swing, but going through the 90s. I mean, to me, he's had a similar kind of run to what Joe's had. The R&B artist Joe.
Yes.
Really blow up pop wise, but he had a few big club tracks, and he had some slow jams that got played on a lot of the radio, and and you consistently got albums from him. The same with Jon B. So he's kind of, I always relate them to the kind of at kind of at a level that you always get for what I would say consistency in terms of music.
But I think it's. I would say that Joe. I don't know if Jon B is as appreciated within the R&B community as much as his counterpart, like Donell Jones, Joe, Maxwell, or any of them. I don't know, because Jon B writes, he produces, he plays all his instruments, but I don't know if if being white and he didn't cross over like when I say cross over to the pop market like Justin Timberlake.
No, but he didn't do.
He's
pop,
been
he didn't really do any pop tracks. I think Miss J's will be finally joining us pretty shortly.
Yeah,
she's getting herself ready. But no, he's never really done pop, has he? He's always he's stuck to his roots of R&B. And that's why we kind of support him the way we do, because like you say, what we're getting. Darius Harris says, I absolutely love the track Pick Me Up. You know what? That's been growing on me. I didn't know there's a video to that. I was watching the video before, and that sounds like something off the Cool Relax album. It's the one that's a real head nodding. It's got a mid-tempo, heavy head nodder, great snare. There's a great sound in that track.
Yeah. That track was that's a track that you'd think of Brown Sugar, kind of jazzy, kind of. There's a video on that. Yeah, you're right. He's underrated. I think we appreciate the They Don't Know, and we appreciate Are You Still Down? But I think as a whole, do we really appreciate his musicality? Do we really appreciate his writing and everything? And here comes, you know,
Ah,
there's always we are the bronze, and yeah. How are you doing? This-
Hey, I'm okay. I ran through the
you
door.
ran.
you're right. Have you not even got
Okay.
yourself a little drink set up there or anything like that?
Do I have what?
A little drink set up so you can, if you literally just ran in from work or whatever.
No.
This is dedication, Andy. This is dedication. She just got in from work,
This,
got in the door,
yes,
decided to join us.
yes.
Dedication.
Glasses dirty.
Oh,
I clean off the glasses so I can see.
yeah. Don't worry, don't worry. Joseph said you saw Jon B last month in a concert. None of those R&B package dates. He's just a great reaction from the crowd. And actually, what you notice with John is he doesn't be on this 90s R&B package and there's 8 acts and he just jumps on. He's doing a lot of small little gigs himself with his piano, with a band, and he's just winding the crowd up. And so, yes, I think, Miss J, you said he's coming to town.
Yes, he'll be here July
Oh, is it?
25th, I believe, in July.
Okay.
Yes. Can't
Okay.
wait.
Okay. Can't wait. What were your thoughts of the
He likes his designer shades, I've noticed as well.
These are shades?
No, I'm talking about Jon B. He likes his
No, Jon B.
shades.
Okay. Yes. His shades and his suits. I know I like his style.
Yes.
He dresses very he got a nice little style going on.
Mhm.
And I just love his music. He's so mellow. And even if it's not mellow, it's just still a good vibe. He has good vibe music. Can't wait to see him.
Yes. I mean, what did you think of this new album, Waiting on You?
I absolutely love the new album. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I know some of the songs we've seen them for about a year or 5 years. There's like the one with Tank I've seen, and Daniel Jones. And but the new ones, I love it was hard. This was hard for me. I all of them are so good.
It is hard because you've had less than a week to take it all in. It's very hard to rate something in
I
less.
think she had just 2 or 3 days. She had just about 2 days or so.
Well, there you go.
I barely did it. I really
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I got my top.
No, and I think we can appreciate that. I only listened to it fully, I think on Monday, and I had to just before I spoke with him, so and went free to the song. So and actually I've appreciated it more since then. So anyway, just because I know people have been waiting and stuff, so we're going to go through for anyone who's listened to the album, 11 beautiful tracks, and we're going to go through from we'll start at 11 up to 1, and we can talk a little bit about why we put it there, and we go from there. As I have no problem starting, and the track I started at number 11 is Priceless. And I think it was one of the album songs that were done 5 years ago. So it didn't fit into the album as much as the others because it was one of the older tracks which they put out. His singing style was reminiscent of how R&B was 5 years ago, where there was scattering and where there were almost what was that word that you use?
Bit of auto tuning.
I can't remember. Yeah, a little auto tuning, a little bit of I've forgotten what the words are when the hip hop artists were rapping back in the day, 5 years ago. Mumble rap. So it felt like that type of like, okay, this is what. Yeah, little trap. Sorry, thank you. Yeah.
Oh.
So that it sounded like, okay, this was what the industry was doing then. So that's why it didn't. And he had a video and everything. So that would be my least favorite. Or make number 11. Beautiful track, but compared to the rest of the album, it was number 11. That's what Timmy Lee put down as well. What about you, Stevie? What's
Amazingly, I agree with you. Number 11, I got Priceless. What I did like was in the video was all the jacket. You notice all the jacket changes he did.
Miami Vice type
He
stuff, right?
starts off this like very bright colours, all these colours going on. Then by the end of it, he's with his lady there in the helicopter, and the lyrics remind me of where R&B went, say, in the early 2000s about taking a cruise, going on a helicopter, going on a VIP with bottles, stuff that I personally can't relate to being a poor man. You know what I mean? I can't afford all that. It's very hard to relate to, like going in a helicopter, and buying your lady like diamond rings and designer dresses, and it's just something, I'm sir, please sir, can I have some more? So
Oliver Twist.
Yeah. So those lyrics I can't really relate to, but I respect his swag. Got a bit of swag going on in the video there with all these jackets and shades on, and but yeah, good start. Number 11 for me, Priceless.
What about you, Miss J? What was your number 11?
I don't think this has ever happened before. All three of us agree on number 11.
Yeah, maybe first. Yeah.
I have Priceless too. It's 5 years ago. It's still nice, a decent song. I did put the video. Yeah. His videos always represent his love for melanin, and his lyrics even said, "Sun-kissed." What did he say? "Sun-kissed body drives me insane." Her sun-kissed body drives me insane. Mm-hmm. That's what I was getting from that. Like, oh, this is a nice video, but the other songs are so good. It was great. Nice you added it, but the other ones are great.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is that we can't begrudge. I mean, when he came out 5 years, when's the album? So you do have to add it to it. Okay, so this was hard for me to put this at number 10, and this is Drifting. But actually, it's a song that will grow on you, because the more I'm listening to it, the more I'm feeling the vibe, the more I'm thinking of slow wine, that kind of chilled out stuff. It has the little instrumental at the end of stuff like that. He said, well, even Apple buyers agree with Priceless at number 11. So that's what Joseph just said. Yeah, so Drifted, actually, it's a beautiful song. I had a number 10 because I just liked some of the others much better. But I didn't have anything wrong with this. It just felt new, felt beautiful. But it's at number 10 for me.
Takes you away, that track. It's got a really I thought it was a really solid track, that. But like I say, I think it would take a few listens. But you can tell the tracks. There's like half a dozen tracks that were made recently, and they got like they hark back to the 70s. They got a 70s soul feel with the conga going on, and that was one of them that I really liked. That probably done more recently. But I do like that track, Namdi Drifting, a lot, actually. I do like it a lot.
Yeah, I do. And I did.
It's hard. It's very
I think some of the other ones.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I think some of the other ones I just like better. But it's hard to do this. What did you put, Stevie, at number 10?
Number 10, this track starts off amazing. And I thought, oh, we've got an amazing track here. And then he spoiled. I'm sorry, John, if you're watching, but it kind of spoiled it on the production. This big crashing snare beat comes in, and the chorus just gets like completely overproduced compared to the way the build-up of the track goes. The track's called "Still Got Love." I think it's a good song. I think it starts off the first minute of it, you're getting really into it. Good, upbeat track, and then boom, it just comes in the chorus, and it's spoiled. It's the wrong snare beat, and I am being very picky there, but I just think that crashing snare sound in it just spoiled the track for me. Unfortunately, that could have been really, really good. So I've Still Got Love. I like what he's saying. This positive, upbeat message, but just overproduced on the chorus for me, unfortunately. So Still Got Love at 10.
Okay. What about you, Miss J?
So my list makes no sense. Okay, makes no sense whatsoever. Not really. I'm trying to rationalize the list because if it's not my favorite, I can put it anywhere because everything is good for real. But I'm gonna put "Understand" featuring Donald Jones only because it's not really new, but it's a nice song. I just put it there because I'm making no sense, but it's a good song. I just had to find some place to put. Everything is really top 3 for me. So
yeah,
I just had to put something there.
Well, you're allowed to be honest. You're
okay.
you can be brutal. I can be brutal at times with my. You're allowed to go there. It's your opinion. We respect your opinion. We don't have to agree with it. But if you want to, just say it as it is, Miss J. Don't be afraid.
I really don't. I really do. Okay, I'm not, but I really do love all the songs on this album.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And as I said, you've got to put. We have to put the song somewhere. I mean, apart from Priceless, I was struggling to even put Drifted at number 10. At number 9 for me was Still Got Love, as well. Oh my, well, it's just a one above you, Stevie. I guess it was. It was almost trying to be like Don't Talk. Is it Don't Talk? That kind of upbeat stuff, and it kind of can get a lot. Still great track, still a nice little positive track and stuff. But as I said, there are 9 songs.
Next
today.
time you listen to it, just wait till the court, like I say, what we're saying, because you'll notice it more. You're like, yeah, I see what Steve's talking about now.
Okay. As I said, go ahead.
Did you say it can get a little bit a lot? Is that what you said? Did you say that?
No, it felt busy on it. Okay. But not in a bad way. But there was 9 tracks I prefer.
Do you know what? I get frustrated sometimes because I think I wish I'd have been in the studio to say, look, don't do that. Well, that's, you know what I mean? Don't, that beat there just doesn't work. Just because I have my ears, really. I'd love to have. I'd probably get kicked out, but I'd be saying, look, John, that beat doesn't work there. Do another sound or something,
Well, I'll let you into the secret because he produced the track, took it to DJ Quick, and he said that they sort of played around with it. So I wonder if some of the changes were things that Quick added in.
DJ Quick produced that track?
No. So John wrote and produced it, but then Quick came in and added some stuff, removed some stuff.
I see.
So I do wonder if some of those changes were other, because it maybe didn't flow as he initially did it. But when you guys watch it, the interview, he was, I think now listening to what you're saying and hearing what he said about Quick coming in and doing all the stuff, I had only listened to the songs once, so I couldn't really relate to what he was saying. But now I can imagine. So when you guys get to watch his reaction on that, it might make sense as to probably why it didn't seem to work the same way.
Be interesting then to hear his original demo version. Then, if it's been touched up by another producer, what it would have sounded like before he let DJ Quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that song's got potential, a lot of potential though.
Yeah. Okay. But what's your number 9, Stevie?
Number 9 is Natural Drug. I do like this track. There's like I can't describe the sound of it. It comes in at the end, but it is you don't notice it as you're going through the track. But right near the end, it really gets put. It's like it's mum sound. And I really like that sound in the track. I really like it, but it's almost like I felt like it'd been recorded in a church though. It's a bit airy, the track. But nice track. What? Not a killer for me. Not a killer.
Okay.
It's a good album track. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I need to hear it a few more times. You need to hear it a few more times.
You need to listen. Okay.
Yeah. Like you say, we've had less than a week.
Okay. Yeah. We haven't had much time. Miss J, what's number 9 for you?
So remember, my list makes no sense today. Okay. So I just.
That's what women are like that in general, aren't they? They don't make any sense. Carry on.
We say the same about y'all. But number 9, I only can remember about him like promoting it. I've heard him singing it, promoting it, but Pick Me Up, only because I can't remember it. So trying to put something on the list, I'm like, I can't remember how that went besides seeing him perform it. Like, oh, he must really like the song. And it is a nice song, but I just don't remember how it went. So that's why I put it.
It's the one that's got that real slow head nodding beat. Boom.
Everything is, it's so mellow. His music is so, I'm just a fan. So let me hush.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah. So that was your number 9. So actually Pick Me Up was number 8 for me. And that was, if the more you listen to it, the more you can hear the influence of Brown Sugar. The more I listen to it, and I'm saying that this is the kind of track that if I went to, say, the Jazz Cafe or City Winery or one of these, the House of Blues, and he's playing it live, I could just really, it felt like a lounge. You're being in a lounge listening to the track and just like, the whole vibe, jazz band and funk mixed together. And I mean, the video is really reminiscent of what it sounds like. You've got someone playing bass and he's playing the guitar. Really funky track and really, really, really good track. But yes, it is number 8 because, as I said, there were 7 other tracks that I did prefer better. But not to say that I didn't like this. I said I would love to listen to this live. Very much of a song that I can imagine when he does perform live, it will sound just like the record. Steve, what's the 8th for you?
Number 8, actually, my original number 8 has now moved to number 7. So it got a boost. So the track that got put back to number 8 was the track with Donell Jones, Understand. I think, I don't know, it's a good track. It's a good, solid R&B slow burner track. I suppose the production now does sound a few years older than some of what I'm hearing on this album. I'd give Understand like a solid 7.5 out of 10 as a track, and it's at number 8. But yeah, I like the video as well. With two of them in the video again with their dinner jacket. Well, Jon B with his dinner jacket on, shades on, and Well, I thought it was a good comeback single. Nice comeback. Nice to hear Donell teaming up with Donell Jones as well. So, yeah, nice. Yeah. I liked it.
Joseph said Pick Me Up is the second bestseller. I think, Joseph, maybe because they just released a new video about a week ago. So that could also have added to it. Yeah. What about you, Miss?
Number 8 now. So my number 8 was your number 10, Namdi. It's Drifting. It's the last one I heard before getting off work. The last one I heard. I was trying to listen to it at work between people, between customers. I'm trying to listen to it. Between clients. And so but Drifting, I thought it was a nice mellow, like made me want to just get a massage and listen to it. But it's a good track to me. It's just, even though you don't like it, it's a nice vibe.
No, goodness, no, not at all. It a lot of the songs I'm growing into. And that's the thing about this album. A lot of the songs that I'm listening to, I'm growing into. I'm thinking, wow, okay, I didn't really realize how good they are. It's quite hard when you listen to it once, but you listen to them, and some of them.
Bit of acid.
So Drifting is
there,
one.
We get.
The thing is,
we get on us guys. We get older, us guys. We get this acid reflux. Not good. It's not. Whenever you get it in our 20s, Andy, you know what I mean? It was like, what's that? What's acid reflux?
So the story about Me and My Water is that I was interviewing DJ Cassidy, and we came to the end of the interview, and he was about to give me a compliment, like, yes, I've been watching your stuff and really appreciate what you're doing. And I started having a cough. and I had no water around me, and I was there listening in, trying to hold my cough, and then he finished, and I was like, yes, okay, thank you very much and stuff. And I said, from that day on, I always have to have water in any interview. I'm like, okay, I'm ready, because I never wanted that to happen again. The problem is, we started talking, waiting for Miss J to join in, and I finished a liter of water within 10 minutes. And so all of a sudden, I'm like, uh-oh, the cough that never comes decided to come to right after I'd finished a liter of water. So I got caught out there. So anyway, number 8 for me. I said, are we on number 8? I just remember.
Yeah, I just did 8.
Drifting.
Yeah, okay. Number 8 for me is Pick Me Up. And as I said, it's a I love the vibe and stuff like that.
No, we're on number
I
7.
wish it could have.
We're on number 7 now.
Oh, number 7. Oh, maybe I did say number 8. Yeah, number 7 for
I'm
me.
last.
Okay, so number 7 for me is number 7 for me. It's a strong lead. It's an old track. No, not old track. The title, "Bandit in the Night." Who you? I mean, have you ever heard of a bandit? I mean, bandits are Dick Turpin, highway robbers. Yeah. I just love the fact that he used a word that we don't the average person. I'm sure if you ask a Gen Z, what's a bandit, and they'll probably think, oh, and what he's singing about is about stealing someone's love in a midnight hour or something like that. But I love the haunting part of the song and stuff like that. I would say that's from 6 to 1. It could have moved around. I could have just shuffled some cards and they were all the same.
Right.
But when I listen to them, this one grows on me as well. Bandit in the Night, number 7.
That's a good track, that.
Stevie,
it's a good track.
It definitely is.
One of my favorites on here.
My number 7 moved from number 8. I pushed it up one place because I thought this track's really, over the next few, I can tell it's going to get me. It's really going to grow me, but it's actually picked me up. It's that slow plodding beat. Who was that group? There was a group he recorded with. They had an unreleased album. They were called Jack Herrera, and around that Cool Relax time and Jack Herrera, they had a certain sound, and that in that track picked me up. It might even been a track. That might have even been a track for Jack Herrera. I don't know, but it's got that kind of. They had that kind of sound as well. But I do think it's a real slow. It's a slow burning, like it'll really grow on you. That, and like I said, I did watch the video before. I like the video. So I bumped it up to number. It was high up at first, but I bumped it up a few places because I thought, yeah, this is gonna get me eventually. I think this track, production wise, because it's so solid, you'll still be playing that 30 years from now because it'll still sound. Snare beat, the drums, everything, the build up. It won't date that track. It won't date. I don't think.
No.
So number 7.
Yeah, no, it is like a brown sugar. It is a nice solid vibe. Yes. Rich J, what's your 7?
Okay, let me see my nonsensical list here. So I have number 7. I noticed he does a lot of duets with other guys. For most of his records. It's not the female one because that's one of my favorites, but I picked him and Tank. I do think it's a great song. I like how they both go back and forth, but I'm gonna be quiet about what I'm thinking about Tank. I don't know, Tank kind of. When I see him, I just look kind of get the side eye a little bit, but it's a good song. I like the video though that they have. They just put me in it, but.
You want to be a video vixen? I think video vixens are making a comeback. Right. Okay, so you've got Waiting on You at number 7. I would say that number 5 and number 6, there was a switch over the last 3 days. On Monday, what's number 5 from number 6 for me was in my top 5, but my the song that replaced it has grown on me for the last couple of days. So that's is what did Tang do to you, Miss J? That's what Joseph was saying. What did Tang do to you?
Oh, what did he do? Nothing. Have you listened to some things that he says? Goodness gracious! But I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, number 6 is this is hard. I almost feel like I need to be punished for putting this at number 6. Goodness, but I have to put it. It's one of his duets. It's Show Me featuring Alex Isley.
Namdi.
As I said, I set it up that I set it up that I feel bad about it, but I think the song that's in number 5 grew on me more over the last couple of days. When I first listened to it, it was in my top 3, but then as I've been listening to the album, it's just been shifting because, as I said, from 7 to 1, there's no change. They're pretty much I could have moved them around. But I loved her vocal. She's very underrated. I loved how they feed off of each other, and it's just. Actually, I said to him that if this didn't have a video, I wouldn't mind. I didn't need a video for this. It was such a beautiful song. That some songs you need a video to sort of give it some edge. I said this didn't need it. I listen to it on the radio anytime. So I do feel bad that it just shifted. But yeah, featuring Alex Isley. Yes, Show Me. Wow. Yes. Okay, what about you?
You do this to us every week, so that's no surprise.
But I started off being very guilty about even listing there, but I just felt like, okay, I had to quickly do the list and just stop because I was changing it and shifting around. I said, no, just do it once, let go, and realize the album is just great as it is. What about you, Steve? What did
I had
get
Bandit in the Night at number 6. That's where I put that track. Player for reals in the night there, cruising in the night. That really got me set up for the rest of the solid tracks on this album. This is the bit where I thought I'm really getting into this now, and this has that sound that I was talking about that's on Chosen's, on Show Me, on Drifting. It's really got it's like an organic, like 70s feel to it in some of the places with more updated sounds. So really like that. Bandit in the Night. Right.
Yeah. Like a bandit in the night. Yep. Miss J, what did you put down as 6?
I think you guys already mentioned this one. It is Natural Drug. I do love his play on words in a lot of his tracks that he uses. My top 3 has some really good examples, but I can't talk about them right now. But he has a way of, like, for me, when it comes to his music, it can grow on you, but when you first hear it, it's like, for me, it's instantly likable. I didn't hear any imperfections that maybe if I listen to it more, like you said something about a clash in one of the songs, but to me, you can just grow on. Every song can grow on you. Like, you instantly, to me, I like them. I think if I hear them even more, I'm gonna like it even more. But I think that's the one that has a video, right? Natural Drug has a video for that one too.
No, I don't think he's got a video out for that yet.
No, he has.
Which one is that,
he has, Namdi. He's got a video.
For Natural Drug?
I watched it earlier. It's good.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay, I need to look it up for that. Okay. Okay, because
Yeah,
I think he wants
some nice visuals too. Yeah, good videos.
Yes. Okay. I would say number 5 for me. At first, when I heard it, when it first came out, I wasn't a big fan. And then even when I was listening to the album on Monday, I was like, yeah, not too bad. But because I've been listening to the album, I probably listened to the album 8 times over the past 3 days. And this song just starts to eat away on me. And I didn't really want to put it this high up, but it's just hard not to appreciate it. And it's the title track, and Timmy Lee put it down, Waiting on You. You got me waiting on you.
Go ahead now.
You got me waiting on you. And Jon B actually said that's his favorite track on the album. And as I said, just listening to it, I'm like, okay, it's a grower. And I just didn't think it was going. I just didn't think it was. I was going to enjoy it. Um, I've, I would say that I don't. When did Tank come out? Because all of a sudden during the lockdown.
95. You took time after time.
No,
That one.
no.
About 98
Never
came out.
heard of-
No, I think it was 98. He signed to Blackground, wasn't he? Aaliyah's label.
Okay, but I don't even know. I never heard of him. Maybe when he came out with Tyrese and Genuine. I think not Genuine.
Took a
Yeah,
while
that
for
was
Tank.
like the
It
2000s.
took a while for Tank
That was the
Tank
to really
2000s.
blow up.
Okay, so I never knew of him until lockdown. I'll be honest. Never knew of him. Never heard of him. I think I knew about the Tank and Genuine and stuff. So I've never listened. No, I don't know one of his songs. But I would say that I have to give him a lot of respect with his when he did the Can We Talk challenge. You know, it took the internet, it took social media, it took everyone by. It was almost like a mini version of Versus. You know, Versus, Can We Talk challenge, and was there anything else that we had during lockdown? I think it was the Versus, and when he did the R&B Can We Talk challenge, that was massive. And then he's got the one with Chris Brown, Residuals remix, and people are taking when he throws it down, people are taking it serious. So he's really been influential socially. Even though I just said musically, I couldn't tell you one song from him or one album, anything. But with this, I did appreciate how this song came about, and yes, and actually probably why it's moving up the chart every time I listen to it. It moves up. So at number 5,
Strong track.
Got Me Waiting on You. Yeah.
Strong track.
What did you put to Stevie for number 5?
Number 5 for me. This is the track that it's made my imagination and my dreams run a bit wild. Some people say to me, when if you go on holiday, Steve, where are you going to go? And I say to him, I've got to dream it first. I've got to have a dream holiday. And people say, well, what is your dream holiday? And sometimes I don't know what my dream holiday is, but I get this image in my head, and I know it's going to cost me a lot of money. It's going to cost me about $10,000. It'll probably need me getting a holiday girlfriend for a couple of weeks to come with me, where I spend a lot of money. I can lavish a lot of money on her so she can look fine on the holiday, and she can live a dream on this holiday. And I can just envisage this. You know, where you see like a sandy beach, a golden sandy beach, and a blue sea, and it's clean.
Yeah.
And then you turn round and there's like it's like a whole, you know, like a hotel that's on the beach, where it's like your private lodge, and it goes out onto the beach, and you've got your bamboo seats with your pina coladas and your cocktails there, and you sit your lady down there, and then you watch the sun set. And I think this track Drifting just drifts me away for this holiday dream holiday in my head with my holiday lady friend, and this, just away from civilization on a private beach together, enjoying, no disruptions for a couple of weeks, and just drift away. It song does to me. So number 5 is Drifting.
So a little insight onto that.
Yes, it is. It's got my passion. My passion stirred. It has stirred my passions. It has.
He recorded a song in Jamaica.
See,
at Bob Marley's studio.
This
so yes,
made me feel like that. Imagine being on a private beach.
Yeah.
in the Bahamas somewhere, or
Yeah.
like Jamaica. There you go. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it did to me.
So yeah, he said they went to Jamaica, Tough Gun Studios, Bob Marley Studios, and it was just like the beach, the sand, and he just freestyled the lyrics, and everything just flowed. And he reminded. I said, well, that reminds me of when you hear "Slow Wine" by Tony, and Dwayne says, yeah, we were out in Trinidad and Tobago, and we were just looking around, and then we came up with this song "Slow Wine." So, as you were okay, you pretty much have pictured what he said happened while they were there.
Wow.
But as I said, I think it's definitely a beautiful track.
Drifting away.
Say, what's your
drifting
away?
For a minute there, I thought he said he was gonna get him a rent a girlfriend for the holiday. I was a little
a holiday.
No, that's what he's
holiday. You know, if I said to some lady who, you know, I said I'm going on holiday in like 6 months to this place, would you like to come with me? There's an unlimited, there's a few $1,000 spending money here. It's a trip of a lifetime. What lady's going to turn that down? I don't know. Would they turn it down? I don't know.
Free holiday,
yeah,
on the
holiday
beach,
in the Bahamas on a secluded beach. You know. Look at this,
Jay. What about you, Mr. What did you get?
He's working away there in the background. I can see.
Me,
carry on anyway. Number 5. Number 5.
My judgy eyes. Okay, so my number 5, you guys have already mentioned, but I love this song because it reminds me of a 2009 era Joe Thomas song. He had a song called "We Gotta Roll." We need to roll. And if you hear, I wish we could play Jon B's song next to Joe's song because I love Joe, and that's what this put me in the mind of Joe. We need to roll, and I was loving it. I love it. I can't believe God didn't have it, but they can go anywhere. I know. But number 5 for me, I love Bandit.
In the Night.
In the Night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good choice. Very good choice.
Yes.
Do you remember how it sounds? Do you remember the sound of the song? Can I play
Joe? Oh no, the Joe one or the Bandit in the Night?
Well, Bandit of the Night. And if you heard Joe, would you think would it come back to you, the song, Jon B song?
Which Joe song you talking about?
This right. My audio is very low, so you can't really hear it. But
you were playing it. I thought you were about to.
Yeah, it's right here. I'm playing it.
No, I can't hear anything.
What's the title of the song?
We Need to Roll.
Oh yeah.
Here it goes.
Killer track. Oh, killer track.
It sounds very similar to that.
Yeah. Hey, again, your ears again. Ears again. I forgot about that track actually. We Need to Roll.
It sounds so good, right? And I wanted to know, like, who wrote this? Did Jon B write his song? I wanted to know, did the same musicians work on this? But there's limited information I could find out about this song for Jon.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that was definitely a good one. My number 5, and I know he put out a list to show what he did and stuff. But anyway, this, as I said, for me, everything just seems to have just moved around and stuff like that. But my number 5 is I think it's moved around a bit. Sorry, number 4. Why am I looking at 5 here? Yeah, number 4. It was Hills to the Hood. Maybach music, and when you hear that Maybach music in there, you're like, okay, this seems like an expensive track because you've got Rick Ross in it. And I don't know Rick Ross very well. I don't know how he's become this big multimillionaire hip hop artist because he just seems to have blown up and become very rich very quickly. Strangely. But I said this track has that kind of Afrobeat style. That kind of which I think actually is his the more popular pop song on the album, which could be his biggest single, even though it's probably, yeah, it's a great track. It's a beautiful track, and probably not the best track on there, but I think it could be his biggest crossover track. Even if he didn't have Rick Ross in there, I think that whole Afrobeat. I'm thinking of Justin Timberlake when he did Essence remix and stuff like that.
Well, there is a version now without Rick Ross, isn't there, Namdi?
Yeah, but I think because Rick Ross is such a big name, I think people freak out if it's like, what? You have a version without Rick in it, without Maybach and music and stuff. But yeah, Hills to the Hood, really nice party track, really upbeat track. They are looking at shooting a video with that. But yeah, that was I just loved the vibe and stuff like that. And I actually appreciate Rick's rap in it because it flowed. It didn't rush it. It felt like, yeah, let me chill, let me say a few words and stuff like that. It isn't Are You Still Down with Tupac kind of stuff, but I think his Are You Still Down opened doors to the hip hop world to Jon B. Like, oh, this guy this Tupac featured on this guy, so he must have some street cred. So yeah, Hills to the Hood, number 4
Good
for
choice,
me.
Namdi. For me, I always get worried when I look at an R&B album. I look at the features, and they have like 5 tracks featuring 5 different rappers, and I'm like, oh no, because I just know I'm not gonna like half the rapping on it. And that's why I end up doing my own edits where I take the rappers out. But at least on this album, the features were with R&B artists, and he's got 3 features. So there's only 1 feature with the rapper on, and I thought, well, Rick Ross can deliver a 16 bar verse pretty solidly usually, so I wasn't too concerned about that. But anyway, my number 4 is Waiting on You with Tank. I know it's been around a few years, or has it? But it seemed that way anyway. But it's a solid enough track, deserves to be in my top 5. And I know I'm not going to get sick of hearing that. I think it's a solid track. So number 4 for me is Waiting on You with the Super Tank.
Waiting on you.
I deserve. Was it? That was his big slow jam on it. I deserve, or that club thing. He did have a bit of a club track. But yeah. Anyway, what's your number 4, Miss J?
My number 4 is, I believe it is very haunting, and the beginning of the song sounds haunting, and I chose Chosen.
Wow.
Number 4. I think it's a good song. You said, wow. Do you disagree that it's a good track?
No, it's good. Well, it's your top 5 because I think it's an outstanding track.
Yeah, I like the lyrics of this song. Is this the one? I think. I have to listen to. I wish I had longer to listen.
It's the opening track. It's the first track on the album.
I love it. Yeah, I loved it. That was the first track.
Yeah.
Loved it
that was the first track on the album. Yeah, it's how it starts the album. Yeah, definitely. We're down to our top 3, and number 3 for me was Natural Drug. It gave me that Devontae Swing kind of Jodeci type of.
I know.
Like a natural. Yeah, it was boom, boom, boom. I just loved the whole. It felt like he'd gone back to the 90s and updated it to 2025, and we talk about 90s, but it's. And I actually said I couldn't rank this album among his other albums because it felt like for this time, this is a great album. And I actually did prefer this album to say the other albums, which were a lot like Bonafide had a lot of tracks, probably a little too many tracks, and Cool and Relax had the hits, but it just had a lot of tracks. But I thought this album, just 11 songs, just keeping it neat and tidy, you could appreciate it listening to it 45 minutes. And then it's like, oh, is that it? I need more. And so number 3 for me, that Natural Drug. Just the fact that, and I've just looked at the credits, and he wrote and produced the entire album. Tank co-produced Waiting on You, and then he had a few people co-write some of the tracks, but he pretty much wrote and produced the entire album in his studio at home, just looking at the credits. So yeah, I appreciate that track.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
Why do you want to be left begging for more? I mean, because you talked about Bonafide, didn't have a lot of songs on it. It was too many songs for you to appreciate. You like it when it's less songs, so you could be left begging for more. What?
Yeah, I think what happens because there's a sense where less is best, and then you do want. I mean, some of my best albums are 8 to 10 tracks, because you listen to them, think, "Wow, that's great. I wish I had more." But when it's 15 tracks, and we did the Blackstreet 15 tracks and 25 interludes, it's like you can make room for error. There's a lot of room for error, and then you can have a lot too many filler tracks. Just come out with another album.
You just reminded me, around the time that Blackstreet album came out, Melvin Riley put his album out, and that had like 18 tracks on it with interludes on. And I was like, damn, they're all slow. I'm getting my sleeping bag ready. You know, at least with the Blackstreet, you had a mix of like tempos and styles, and it kept me interested.
Yeah.
But to put out an 18-track album, they've got to be 18 strong tracks, really. I haven't told your attention, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, some of this album, a lot of tracks on this album are over 3 minutes 30. There's 4-minute, 5-minute tracks on this album, just like we used to get with an R&B album, and they do hold your attention.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for 11 tracks.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely. I mean, as I said, if he was one of those 15, 16, then what you're doing is even if he had great songs, it's just too much, too many. And I think when you just give us the opportunity to want more, that's when you've got a good album. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Steve, what's number 3 for you?
Number 3 was originally at number 2. I pushed it back one place because I can't choose between the other 2 tracks. They're both number 1s for me. But again, it goes back. It's got a feature on it. This guy he's a big guy. He's big in Japan. He's also big, dare I say, he's also big in KFC. But dare we be remembering KFC at the moment, because there's other things going on in KFC, in those kick.
Yeah.
That I didn't even realise after I watched the ad. Miss J, have you seen the KFC advert? I don't know if he's running in America. But
where they dump his body in the oil?
Oh, yeah. And into gravy.
That was gravy?
Yeah, and they dip the guy in gravy, and he comes out and it has a chicken drumstick, and they all want to eat it.
That was gravy. I thought they dumped him in oil and made him a chicken. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, it's a bit of like 10.99 family KFC cannibal bucket going on there.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever go in KFC again after watching that. I'm sorry, KFC, but you dropped a blooper there. But anyway, I think he's big in Burger King as well. He's big in McDonald's. I'm talking about Rick Ross. He's a big guy. He's big in KFC. He's big in Pizza Hut. You know, you see him regularly in Pizza Hut as well. He's probably in the studio having a big pizza. But anyway, number 3 is, I always like a good club track on an R&B album. I always think, just give us one track on the album that you can dance to that isn't house music, even though I don't mind house music, but there's enough house music. I want an R&B club track. And he gave us that. You know, back in the early 2000s, We Don't Talk, which still gets played in club nights, even now in R&B club nights. This I can definitely see getting played in an R&B club night. I think it will sound amazing. So it was initially at number 2. It's made it to number 3. I think it's really, really enjoyed that track. With or without Rick Ross, even though there is a version with Rick Ross. If you want the version without Rick Ross, you can contact me and I'll send it you.
When you hear the Maybach music throughout there, do you feel as if, okay, this is a stamp of approval? Or
Maybach music? No, I like that girl when she says that. It's pretty. It's the tag in it. It's a producer tag. Maybach.
Yeah.
Producer tag.
Say, what's your number 3?
First of all, Stevie just called that man calorie challenge or
calorie challenge.
Saying it as it is, you know, he likes to say he's big in Japan, which he is. Rick Ross is big in Japan, but he's also big in KFC.
Dang.
Bro.
Wingstop. I think he got Wingstops. I think he does have his own Wingstop franchise. What is it called? Yeah. What is it called? Franchise. Yes.
Yeah.
Franchise.
I can tell.
Like,
He likes his chicken.
dang. I would hate somebody to describe me like that. Like, okay. I have my number 3 as you didn't like it because it reminded you of one of my favorite songs of his is Don't Talk. I like it because it does remind me of that. And that's wait a minute. Yeah, Still Got Love. I like that song.
Ah, right.
Okay.
I love it.
Oh, the song's really good. I just thought the production was just overproduced on the chorus. That's all. But it's got potential.
Yeah, now I'm gonna listen out for that just so I can hear what you're talking about. Like,
it needs the right mix. It needs a right mix and that could blow up. That song.
A really good one. It does take us back, but I like it. It's my top 3.
Fair play to you.
Okay. So my number 2 was for a long time my favorite on the album, and it just got shifted and switched earlier today. I did love the vibe. I love the connection, and that's Understand featuring Donnell Jones.
Wow.
And I thought that the way they complemented each other. So that was my second one, and it was done 5 years ago, and Donnell blessed the track, and it's strange too because when Jon B doesn't feel. It's almost as if he doesn't feel like he's worthy. It doesn't feel as if he's that he's actually made it. Because he's put out a lot of music, good singles, but when you don't have those 5 or 10 million albums, and unfortunately he left Sony after his 3rd album and didn't get the push. It's hard to tell how much love and respect he has, and so when he's talking to say Donnell to come and feature on this, he's like Donnell's the big star, or like Rick Ross the big star. But not really being very humble about his own impact on the R&B stuff. So, but I loved how both of them, both introverts, really go back and forth on this track. Understand? You ain't see not like that. Yeah, yes, I love the track. Understand is number 2 for me. Yes, Stevie, what's your second track?
I'm not saying I regret this, but I've got a feeling this will end up eventually being my number 1. It knocked me out, this track. The only reason I'm not put it number 1 because I played my number 1 track a lot more this week. But this track has floored me. I think it's going to stand the test of time, and it's the duet or the feature with Alex Isley. Show Me. I thought, again, if I could have a dual number 1, it would be number 1. But just because I played the other track more and I played the other track on my show, but I think this is an awesome track. Real standout, This is one of 2 or 3 standout tracks on this album, without fail. Shame on you, Namdi, for having it number 6.
No, at number 6, it was a hard decision.
Not hard,
it was my
Namdi.
top
You just
5
put it where it belongs, right at the top, mate. Put it where it belongs.
As I said, this is a moving list for me. But if I was to rate it tomorrow, it would change.
You know what it is? I think with me, because of coming up through as a young guy, being in record shops and having to stand at a record counter where a new import 12-inch vinyl came in. There's 4 of you stood at the counter, and they've only got like 3 copies, and they play it. And if you don't put your hand up and say, "I want that," it's gone. The other 3 people take it. So you've got to know within 20. You've got 30 seconds. They play it for 30 seconds. And you've got to work out in them 30 seconds whether you like that track, whether you're going to play it, whether it's worth spending money on. And I think that's where my ear comes, just the pressure of that going, because otherwise you miss out. Imagine there's 4 of you stood at a counter, and some, I don't know, some bad, but like you say, 112 comes out that week that only you with Notorious B, and all four of you put your, give me that track. Out. So the only way you could beat that is to put your hand up 5 seconds earlier than the guy before you. But with Show Me, I know straight away. I just know straight away what the big tracks are, Namdi.
Yeah.
No, straight.
I wonder how Alex Isley is doing. Does anyone know if she's made any headway? Because during lockdown,
she has been consistently putting out tracks over the last few years, just singles. I think has she had an album? She probably has, but she's not. Doesn't seem to have done it yet for me.
No, I think she feature with Tank during lockdown.
Yeah,
I think she had a track with him.
She's not on that level. Probably vocal wise, I'd say she is. But you look at, like, say, Summer Walker and Caesar, who are right up there at the moment. She hasn't rose to them levels yet, has she? Really, in terms of like the R&B public, but I think she will get there.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, there. Also, Jay, what's your second track?
My number 2 is something you guys already named, but I know it's a movie list for you. I love it. It, he references Josephine Baker, Human Nature. I think it makes me think about why they called him the white Babyface back in the 90s. It's
White Babyface.
Remember that? They were calling him the white Babyface. But yeah, Hills to the Hood. I love this. Hills to Hood, my number 2.
Awesome track.
I think it's wonderful. I don't need Rick Ross because I don't really need rap, but it's cute that he's there. But Jon B can do it all by himself. I love it.
Yeah, I think when you have. Okay, yes, Stevie can oblige you with that. Yeah, it is his Afrobeat track. Okay, so before I go to number 1, I'm gonna go through my list again. So Priceless was number 11, Drifting number 10, Still Got Love at number 9, Pick Me Up with number 8, Bandit in the Night number 7, Show Me at number 6, Waiting on You number 5, Hills to the Hood at number 4, and Natural Drug at number 3, Understand at number 2. And it's amazing that this track, which opened up the album, became my favorite. The Chosen. It is my favorite track on there. And if you start off the album just like that, you're probably thinking, what have I just? What am I going to be listening to?
Right.
And it is definitely an amazing track. I've got to, as I said, okay, Timmy put Show Me at number 10 and number 1. Yeah, so that was, so that was definitely, as I said, I keep playing it over and over again, and I'm like, okay, man, this is haunting, and definitely one of those tracks that you're like, man, this is a new track now, and I think it's one of the things where if he was signed to Universal or Sony, they would take the album and really push it out there. But when you're doing it by yourself, man, you really have to put in the quality and hope that people pick it up. And I think that beautiful track. And he said it's about his wife, that she's chosen, she's special.
Aww.
So that she became his muse for the whole album and stuff.
That's nice.
So even Bandit and all the tracks, yeah. All right, Stevie, your countdown, and
I'm just reading Richard Ashcroft's. He's talking about the Jagged Edge album. We have talked about doing that album. It's a good strong R&B album. That I'm enjoying that. Number 11 is Priceless. Number 10 is Still Got Love. Number 9 I had Natural Drug, which I think will climb my chart over the coming weeks. Number 8, Understand with Donell Jones. That'll probably drop further back, I think. Sorry about that, Namdi. 7, Pick Me Up, which I think may gain a few places. Number 6, Bandit in the Night. Again, that could be further up. Great track. Number 5 is the track that had me dreaming about holidays, was drifting. Number 4 is Waiting on You with Tank. Number 3 is Hills in the Hood, which I'd like to, when I go out on Saturday night in London to my H-Town and Silk, maybe I'm going to get my pimp suit ready. Maybe I'll get on the floor and drop a few feet on the floor. You never know. So number 2, I got Show Me with Alex Isley, which is just a knockout R&B slow jam. And at number 1, got to agree with you, Namdi. The minute I heard that track, I thought it just shows his maturity. I think so. It has got a 70s rare groove, soulful vibe to it. But it just took me away, just blew me away. Oh my gosh! But yeah, Chosen.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's my number 1. I think Show Me will jump to number 1 in a few weeks, but right this minute, it's Chosen.
Okay. Yes. Well done. Definitely a good one. What about you, Miss J?
Well, they're all good songs. They're all number 1, but we had to put them somewhere. So my list really makes no.
They're not all number 1, but come on.
To me, they're so good. They're all top 3 to me. Like
there's got to be one track that really gets you. That's your go-to track. But we're gonna find out now. We're gonna find out.
Right, we're gonna find out. Okay, so for me, anyway, like you said, a floating list. It could have been. So number 11, Priceless. Number 10, Understand. Number 9, Pick Me Up. 8, Drifting. 7, Waiting on You. 6, Natural Drug. 5, Bandit in the Night. 4, Chosen. 3, Still Got Love. And then 2 is Heels to the Hood. 1 is the beautiful celestial ethereal voice duet with Alex Isley. It's Show Me. I thought that was a very beautiful sounding. I love the elements on that song. It was beautiful. It's a gorgeous song. Number 1 for me right now.
I'm happy you picked that one. I'm happy somebody picked that this evening.
Beautiful.
You did. And I think that is a deservedly number 1 track easily on this album as well. Oh yeah,
I think
Charlie B. Real new album. That's a good album. Very good album.
You said Charlie B.
Okay. Charlie B. Real signed to Snoop Dogg now owns Death Row Records, I do believe.
Okay.
But it's got a very I wouldn't say it's a modern R&B feel. Like it's more like Curtis Mayfield style sound to it. But it's good. It's very, very good. He's got a great voice. But sorry, what was you going to say, Namdi? He's forgot.
Oh goodness, no, I lost it. No, but I was just saying that if you think about the fact that we've only had a couple of days to listen, and as you said, with the more you listen to it, the more you can appreciate one or over the other, and that makes a massive difference. Because Waiting on You was not my, I didn't rate it. It's just that I didn't appreciate it as much. But the more I listen, in the context, so it moved around. So that's one of the things I would say about this album. It's available on all streaming services as well as YouTube, and he's coming out with new visuals. So for those who are watching and might say, "Oh, let me check out the album," I do encourage you to do so. Check out the album, listen to it, and give your thoughts on it as well. I think one of the saddest things about music today is the fact that as consumers are thinking, do I need to buy this? I could listen to it on YouTube, stream it on Spotify, and instead of downloading it. The other thing is that I remember getting an artist's album. I don't want to name their names before because they may watch and say, "Oh." And I got the album and was listening to it. Then I think within 3 weeks they're saying, "Yep, I'm going to come out with a new album." And I was like, "Wait a minute, but I've just paid for this." And it's like, and I think that was the difference back in the day, is where, if you recorded an album, the work to promote it, and then by the time you are, 2 years before or 2.5 years before you get the second album, So you really appreciated it. You can sit, enjoy it, and will go over it before something else happens. So Michael Jackson, 4 or 5 years in between albums.
Mhm.
Now they can release an album now, and they say, okay, next week here's a new album, and so it just takes away the appreciation we have for music because it just seems so available. Um, that said, we need to do an episode titled June of '88. Stevie, you know what happened the June of '88, which I only found out when I spoke to Rodney B.
In terms of R&B releases, or
Yes, R&B releases.
I'm thinking, is that the when Bobby Brown and New Edition released their albums?
And
Remind me, because '88 is one of my favourite years for soul music, all-time favourite years. Really is. I love that year.
yeah, so we had
so many big albums that year.
The June of '88. Within 4 weeks, Troop came out on the 7th of June. Guy came out on the 14th of June. I think the 14th. Oh no, Guy came out on the 21st of June. New Edition came out on the same day, and I think Bobby Brown came out on the 14th of June of '88. 4 albums came out within 4 weeks of each other, and Rodney B was saying that as much as they were inspired by New Edition and everyone, but I asked them, why did they bring My Attitude out a year later? And they said, by the time we came out and New Edition and Bobby Brown and Guy were all on the market, our sound sounded dated. So within 3 months, they had to go back in the studio, and My Attitude came out a year later, and they just to compete on the charts. But it was, I mean, I'm thinking, so we have to do an episode June of '88 because I don't think people recognize that month what came out.
Not only that,
it's insane.
That, like you say though, as a new, it come out R&B. Them albums came out as R&B albums, but with a brand new sound on them.
Yeah,
like a start of a new genre of R&B. Yeah. But imagine that now. I'm just thinking what we've had in the last since October from October 24 to like now, we've had October London, which is a great album. We've had the Mary J. Blige album. We've had Jagged Edge. We've had this. If you can get to listen to Charlie Be Real, which is a great album. I know it's a throwback. It's a great album. And we've had this Jon B album. There's a few others I could mention as well. But I really do feel like, we're not even, April's just round the corner. We started the year off very well already for R&B. I hope this is start something really good, actually. That we will be doing more, like reviewing more solid new R&B albums this year. I hope so. Keep my fingers crossed. The year is still young.
Goodness. Timothy just says, and I've just searched online, Aaron Hall is reportedly missing after being named in a Diddy lawsuit.
You kidding?
Yes, he's gone missing, and this is at the back of Guy. We're planning on going on tour this summer. I believe the service provider, but yeah. So
breaking news here on the Halftime Chat Podcast. Breaking news, folks. Aaron Hall has gone missing.
Yes.
Now that is breaking news.
So they were trying to serve him his paper, but we've effectively exhausted all reasonable methods of locating him, and unaware of any address. So
looks like Miss J's got
as well. Yeah, she's gone missing as well. Yeah. Wow. So that is I just hope it's hard to say what I hope. I hope it's. Yeah, it's all speculation. So, but that was that's all on the news. So he's gone missing. But Guy, we're planning on coming out doing a tour this summer, and so I wonder how that would affect everything. So yes, that's just some news out there. Anyway, but back on the positive side, And let's say you sort of disappeared, and we thought that you probably were trying to find him or
No.
something like that after or gone into hiding after your how you felt about reviewing the Truth album. Like, oh goodness, he's coming after me. Let me run away
Not
too.
me. Oh my God.
Goodness. But yeah, anyway, but just as we wrap up, because guys, the next time you see us is when we'll be doing Tevin Campbell's "I'm Ready" album. But just as we wrap up tonight, what would you say, Stevie, for anyone who's considering investing
Well,
in
let's
this
do a
album?
rating first.
Jon
What do you give it
B's?
out of 10? After a week's play, what do you give it out of 10?
Yeah, I would give it
Okay.
I would give it a
Wow.
9 out of 10. And the reason I say that is that I couldn't, because it's just 11 tracks, and maybe, as I said, some of the tracks like Priceless sort of bring it down. But it's almost like, wow, maybe for the effort of putting all this energy into making a new album at this quality, not having 20 features, just having 4, and it just felt like just the right number. Felt like he put a lot into his lyrics, into his production, and it just seems surprising. Like, man, people can still make these type of music albums today. Why aren't they doing that? And he's singing about love and relationship. He's, so what's strong? What stops others from doing so? He's not chasing a sound. He's just saying, this is what I'm putting out there. So for that effort, I gave it a 9. Timmy Lee gives it a strong 8.5. That's but I just was amazed by the work he did as an independent artist. So that's why I gave it a 9. What about you, Miss J? Before Stevie gives his,
I liked it too much. I don't know. I would say a 10.
10 out of 10. Wow.
oh,
I'm gonna give it a 10 because it's missing to me. Like I'm missing. That's what I'm missing. So I'm happy to hear it.
9
okay,
out of 10.
okay.
I rated Mary J. Blige's new album 8 out of 10. I gave it a really good rating. Is this album as good as her album? Yes, it is. It is. Is it better? I'd rate it slightly higher because there's more of an original on some of the tracks. There's more of an original production sound coming through. Whereas Mary J, you're getting a lot of samples. What you'd expect with Mary J, and there's probably a few, maybe 2 tracks that I can't really listen to on the Mary J. But on this album, I can probably, like you said, he's only really Still Got Love that was like and ahhing about and Priceless, but I can still listen to him. So for that reason, I'm going to go 8.5, or maybe 8.7 around that area for 1 week. So yeah, it's
For
higher
1
than
week.
the Mary J. I want 8.5. Yeah, like Timmy Leaks. I like that. That's pretty solid. I mean, for me to rate an album 10 out of 10, it's got to be really special. It's got to be a Maxwell's debut album. It's got to be a D'Angelo album, an Erykah Badu album, a real classic. I'm not sure this is a real classic, but it's a solid 8.5. And you should, as an R&B fan, you should go and buy it and stream it or whatever you want to do. And I'd like to see it on.
But I don't
think it's on. I don't think there's any physical copies yet. But if there's a CD pressed, I will buy it. Or a vinyl or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah,
I do think it is a challenge for anyone to make. I don't know if anyone can make an album today that would be a 10 out of 10 when we compare to what we had in the 80s and 90s. Just because the way we value music today has really, really changed, and so because as I said, he's not done an album in over 10 years, and he's not probably going to put up a new album in the next year. Almost like, well, as he's promoting this, he's already got the part 2 ready to push out. So almost as if, well, why are we investing in this? Because now he's going on tour with this album and he's going to really push it. So I think there's a part of me that just appreciates the work that's been put into this. Even, the visuals and even the photo shoots and everything. It's almost as if, we really want this to be solid, and we will. And I think that's part of why I gave it a 9. I do prefer it to Mary's album. I loved the Mary's album when it first came out. It gave me a lot of nostalgia. But I think that this one seems a lot more cohesive. I think this is a lot more cohesive. So, but we did do our rating on the Mary's Gratitude album, and as I said, we did appreciate what she did. But I think this is a lot more cohesive, in my opinion. Okay, so we're going to go and look for Aaron Hall. Myself, Miss J. Hey, because he needs to be on tour this summer with guys, so we don't want him to go missing or go into hiding. But we appreciate Jon B for putting this out. Next week, my interview with Jon B will come out. It will highlight. He will go. We went through track 1 to track 11, and I wish I could have done that interview today, because I would have had more of an appreciation for the album. But I had to quickly listen to it, interview, and did pretty well, I must say. But join us with Tevin Campbell, I'm Ready, which I would almost assume our top 3 would be easy to pick. And it's or maybe someone will surprise us. That would be the one thing. But Stevie's going to be seen H-Town, Little G, and UNV on Saturday night. He's got his candle in the air. He's got his David Foster Love T-shirts on.
Who knows? Maybe end of the night, I might be knocking the boots.
He might be knocking the boots. In London, it's a crazy weekend, because performing on that weekend in London, and my good friends of mine, Room 187, are doing a surprise show in London as well, with a special guest announced. So it's a lot of, unfortunately, everything's in one night, and I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make any of them, but I'll be sending my love and support from home. Next week, Miss J, we stalled until you showed up, and you didn't disappoint. Appreciate you. Stevie, as always. And for everyone else, Richard, thanks for joining in. Timmy, always doing your list. Always appreciate that. Darius, really glad that you showed up as well.
We'll miss you all on Sunday evening. We will miss you all. Yes.
Okay, guys. So we'll see you guys, and peace for everything. Take care. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
And somewhere in between,
or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
But what was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No.